Hello there, my name is Nicole Lynn, and this is my channel where I talk about all things Disney, duh. And hi, I know it has been a hot minute since I have posted anything on this channel, so real sorry. I've really missed you guys, and I've definitely been thinking about this channel a lot lately. And specifically this video I've been thinking about making for a while now. But finally, the time has come for me to come back and say, hi, I've missed you guys. I am excited and kind of sad to tell you guys about my Disney College program for spring 2020, which is not news by now that we all know it was canceled and we all got sent home. And I really just in this video wanted to say my official goodbye to the Disney College program and tell you guys the whole story of that process and what it was like to be sent home and everything with that. So I will at the end of this video kind of do a personal life update for you guys. If you've been following my channel for a while, I will go ahead and put why I haven't posted anything in this on my channel for I think it's been fall 2019 was the last time I posted. So I will do a personal life update at the end, so if you are curious, stick around. Otherwise, I will be telling you guys about the spring 2020 program. And I also want to mention that I know an email just recently went out that to the fall 2020 program, that the fall program has officially been canceled, and I'm assuming that was in large part due that they were not able to open housing. That would be my assumption, but I'm sure it also has to do with the fact that the hours in the parks are reduced, and I think they're having a hard time getting hours to their current cast members, and some positions aren't even open because obviously parades, fireworks, and other things like Bippity Boppity Boutique, those things aren't open right now, so I'm sure that they're just struggling with the current cast members they do have. But in general, I just wanted to say to anyone who just got that news, I am so sorry. I know that that is a huge letdown, and I'm sure a lot of you were really just kind of holding out hope that you would still get to arrive sometime in August. So truly, I am so sorry. And as somebody who has done 2 programs now, I should say 1.5 programs, I understand how big of a deal it is to get into the program, how excited you probably were about getting accepted to the program, and I can only imagine how big a disappointment that is. So, and to anyone out there watching this, whether you were a part of a Disney program, so I'm talking Disney College program, Disney International program, Disney Culinary program, professional internships, even furloughed cast members who still haven't been called back to work, anyone out there who just either never even made it to their program or were there and then it got canceled and you didn't get to finish it. I just want to say that I'm sorry, and I wish that there was something I could say that could make it better, but really all I can say is I'm sorry. I know that this is incredibly difficult, and I hope that there are people in your life who are understanding of that and helping you through this time. And I do want to say that you are absolutely not alone. There are so many other people who know exactly what you're going through, and I know that it feels very hopeless right now, and it's a very scary time for the world in general, but especially for Disney. But I just want to say that this is temporary, that things are going to look up, and I sincerely hope that missing out on this experience, it's hopefully that maybe this door will close and hopefully another one will open for you. And I just really do hope that somehow missing out becomes a blessing in disguise, is more or less what I want to say. But yeah, no, it's been rough, and like I said, I've had a hard time getting to the point where I've wanted to sit down and make this video, but it's time. I'm ready to talk about it because a lot of it is good, and I appreciate the time that I did have with the Disney College program. So I just wanted to start off with my official goodbye to the Disney College program, because even we all know that the college program will come up. Will come back. I have no doubt about that in my mind. Disney is it loves its college program. It does. And they have an entire casting team just devoted to it. So, and they, not to mention, they just built these brand new Flamingo Crossing apartments for college program. Like, I promise it's not going anywhere. They're just, Disney is going through something that they've never gone through before. And unfortunately, the college program itself has never gone through anything like this before. So there is a lot of maneuvering that they have to do. And it is such a big system. I think people didn't realize that. I would say that college program is probably 20% of frontline cast members, and people have no idea that it's that many people, but it's a very big system, and it's a lot of people that we're talking about. So I'm sure when they bring people back, they just want to make sure they're doing it right. But I personally have, again, had the privilege, if you guys are new to my channel, I talk about my previous college program a lot. I'm an alumna of the Disney College Program Fall Advantage 2018, where I got to work as a skipper on the Jungle Cruise at Magic Kingdom, and I absolutely loved it. And then the second program, I did Spring 2020, and I got to work at Fantasmic over at Hollywood Studios. So both times I was an attractions cast member, two very different attractions, but I absolutely loved both of my experiences, and I'll be telling you guys the whole story of my second program here in just a few moments. But I just want to say about the Disney College Program is that it has been a huge blessing in my life. And, you know, even though this second time, I think it didn't end, of course, the way I wanted it to, and I really wish it hadn't ended on such a bittersweet note. I really wish it hadn't, more for other people's sake than mine, but I do want to say that I absolutely enjoyed my time and experience with the Disney College Program. I have gained friends from it. I have gained a lot of skills and experience from it. And I mean, I have so many memories there. It's brought me so much laughter, so much joy. And I mean, it's so cheesy, but you know, on your name tag, it says Disney World, where dreams come true. And I mean, the Disney College Program is literally where dreams come true. And I know that some of you, your dreams were cut short, and some of you didn't even get to make it, and I just, I can't even imagine. So I would say that if you have the opportunity to reapply and go back to the college program, please do it. I cannot recommend it any higher. I'm not saying the college program is perfect. I'm not saying that I loved every moment of it. That's not true, but I would say that the positives far outweighed the negatives in my experience. I would not trade either of my experiences with the Disney College Program, you know, for the world. So I would definitely say if you have the opportunity to do it, I could not recommend it any higher. Absolutely do it. So I know that several people have reached out to the Disney College Program recruiters, as they are still answering emails, and I know that it sounds like they're going to be extending the deadline. Normally for you to apply, you have to be within 1 year of graduating, but I know that because of everything happening with COVID-19 that they are extending that so that you will be able to apply. So don't count yourself out. Right now, the reason I am personally saying goodbye to the Disney College Program is just because I know with my circumstances, you know, being married, is that it's just not right for me anymore, and I'm okay with that. Like, again, I really wish it could have ended differently, but you know, I gotta move on. Like, it's been great, it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun, but it's time. So I want to say goodbye to the Disney College Program, and we'll get more into my future with Disney here as we go into the video. But as promised, I am going to be talking to you guys about my whole experience with this second program, since I have not even posted anything on this channel about it yet. So basically, it all started back in August 2019, which, don't worry, I'm going to speed up really fast for it. This is not going to be a really long story. Basically, back in August 2019, I started my senior year, like last semester of college, which, spoiler alert, I graduated. Yay! I actually did that. It was a little iffy at points, but I did it. I pulled it off, and I graduated in December 2019 with my public relations degree, so yay. But back at the beginning of that semester, I had decided I was going to be applying for Spring 2020, because basically what was going on is that Daniel wasn't going to be graduating until Spring 2020, And, you know, I was graduating the semester before that, and so we just kind of this weird semester where I was done but he was not, and our intentions were the moment we graduated were to get out of Oklahoma. We live in Oklahoma right now for school, and it did not make sense to get a job here to then 4 months later turn around and leave. So I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and then I personally was really missing Disney, and I was kind of surprised how much I missed it. Like, I knew I would, but I mean, I really missed it. And so I think the idea popped up in my head. I'm like, wow, you know, the Disney college program kind of works like school semesters. And I was like, I could literally just go and do just the spring program while he's finishing up his degree. And then once he's done, we can, you know, figure out where we're going from there. So this program was really supposed to be my way of getting Disney out of my system. And then, you know, I was gonna move on and go get a big girl job and move on with the rest of my life. So I knew after like the first week of school had started that I got accepted to the spring 2020 program. So that was a huge relief to know, like, all I had to do was graduate and then I got to go off to Disney. So I will admit that going into my second program, I was really nervous and I had a lot of doubts because, one, my first program was so amazing. I absolutely loved working as a skipper. I loved the friends that I'd made from that program, and I just kind of felt like there was no way that the second program could compete with my first one. Like, no way, that's not gonna happen. And then also the fact that last time my husband Daniel came with me, but this time he was staying, I was going, and we were gonna be in a long distance relationship, which we've done before because the entire time we were engaged, he was active duty Air Force. So we were long distance the entire year we were engaged. So we'd done it before and we've done it successfully, but the problem is that long distance is always hard. There's no like magic trick. Like, it's hard to be away from the person, like your favorite person in the world. That's just the reality. So I definitely went into this very nervous, and I was really doubting myself. And I had a lot of people flat out tell me that they felt like I was making a mistake and I was going to regret it, and that I just got a lot of comments of people who thought I was not making a good choice as a wife to leave my husband to go work at Disney, more or less. So I had a lot of self-doubt, but I knew I really loved Disney, and I knew that this Disney college program is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and for me now twice-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But once I was done with college, it's not there anymore. Like, it just, you have very limited time. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this again, you know, in the future. I'm doing it now. Thankfully, Daniel, he was so supportive that it made it a lot easier. So, you know, I show up and I'm really nervous because not only is he not there, that means that I have to get roommates. Because last time, you know, we were married, we got to live together. This time I had to get roommates, and this was the first program where Disney decided that you could not link with people. Basically, you could pick one person, try and link with them, but it wasn't guaranteed you'd get put in a room with them. So I was like, okay, random roommates, let's do this. And I was not looking forward to that, but thankfully I ended up loving all of my roommates for the most part. They were all pretty great. I didn't really have any major issues. I got put in a 6-person, 3-bedroom apartment in Vista, which is what I wanted, believe it or not, because Vista has like this huge stigma behind it that it's like gross and like trashy. I don't know. It was cheap. It wasn't like an amazing apartment, but it was cheap, and I was all about that cheap rent. And I definitely was nervous when I first showed up because all my roommates, all 5 of them, had never done the Disney college program before, so I didn't get any alumni, and then 2 of them had never even been to Disney before. So they had a lot of questions, but thankfully I kind of liked it, and I liked answering their questions and helping them out. So they were all great, and I honestly did not mind my roommates. So that worked out. And then when I got my itinerary for this program, I knew already I had gotten accepted for attractions, and I got my itinerary, and it said that I was going to be working Hollywood Studios Sunset Boulevard attractions. And not gonna lie guys, I was not super excited about Hollywood Studios because of the 4 parks at Disney. Hollywood Studios is my least favorite, and I know that so many people love Hollywood Studios. It's not that I don't like it, it's just it's definitely my least favorite. And so I was kind of disappointed. But then when I saw, okay, Sunset Boulevard, well, if I'm gonna work on Hollywood Studios, this is where I want to work in Hollywood Studios. And I was like seriously like crossing my fingers, like come on, I wanted to work Tower of Terror because I wanted to wear that bellhop costume so bad. But I did not get Tower of Terror, but I got my second choice, which was Fantasmic, and I ended up absolutely loving my location. I loved, you know, my Fant family. They were so amazing. They were Fantasmic. Sorry, that was super cheesy, but really I absolutely ended up loving it. And it was a huge change from Jungle Cruise, because even though Fantasmic and Jungle Cruise are both attractions, you know, one is a ride and it's on a rotation system. So, you know, a rotation would be like you're not in a position for more than 30 to 45 minutes. So you would go like load, and then you go unload, then you go greeter, fast pass. Whereas with theaters, you don't go on a rotation. And Fantasmic, and like specifically, is that you get there and you pull an assignment, and like whatever position you get, that is your position for the entire night. And Fantasmic has like 20 different positions that you can work. Like I worked there for 2 months and I did not get to work every single one because it's at random. So like you can be fast pass podium one night, you can be a greeter one night, you can be packing the theater, you know, it's all super random, and there's so many different jobs. So for the most part, I really, really loved it. And it was definitely just, I don't know, it amazed me that how much I was beginning to like this program. Fantasmic and Jungle Cruise were both great, like in their own way. Like they were both great for very different reasons, but I honestly loved both these programs, and I was like, this one is going just as well as my first. So along with absolutely loving the second program, I think I also pretty quickly started to realize that I really liked Disney. And that wasn't news, but I think that's when something awakened in me that said, you know what, I think you really want to be here. And something spoke to the fact that I forgot what it felt like to wake up and want to go to my job, and enjoyed being there, and it wasn't just a paycheck anymore, you know. And I never had a job where that was true more than when I worked at Disney. I actually looked forward to going to work and doing what I did. And you know, it wasn't necessarily that every day, but most days I got up and I was excited. I wanted to go to work, and that really is kind of clicked for me this time around. And I just decided, you know, I told Dino, I was like, you know, if you don't mind, I think I'm gonna be looking for positions to stay here. And him being the wonderful supportive guy that he is, he was like, great, I'm gonna look for jobs in Orlando. So pretty quickly on, I decided I was going to be applying for jobs, and along with that I was applying for professional internships. And I was so excited when I got put in consideration for a professional internship. And it was actually my top choice, which was Disney VIP tours. I was so excited. One of my goals of working for Disney is I want to wear plaid and work for Disney. So whether that's guest relations, VIP tours, I think even some vacation planning wears plaid. I want to wear plaid and I want to work for Disney. And so when I got put in consideration, I was really excited, did my first phone interview, and it went well because she asked me to move on to a panel interview. Oh my gosh, this might work, this might happen. And basically what she told me is that I had to wait 2 weeks because they had to do phone interviews for another 2 weeks, and then I should see an email about a panel interview. So the next interview would be like a video interview with several leaders from VIP tours. So I was so excited, and right around the 2-week mark is pretty much when things fell apart, unfortunately. So you know, while I'm there and I'm dreaming of sticking around, like continuing my Disney career, I'm never leaving. You know, there's whisperings of COVID-19 in the background. And, you know, we kind of discussed it. Like, we kind of like nonchalantly would be like, hey, like, do you think the parks are going to close? And we're like, I mean, maybe, but nobody had it confirmed. You know, there was no information coming from higher up that we needed to be concerned about the parks closing. And so I just think we didn't worry about it because nobody told us we needed to be worried about it. And I don't know. It was, honestly, it kind of came out of nowhere. And that seems so silly now considering the way things are, but it literally just kind of came out of nowhere. So I remember it was March 12th. It was a Thursday and I had the day off and I was at my apartment eating dinner, scrolling through my Facebook feed when all of a sudden I see breaking news, Disney World closing on Sunday until the end of the month. And I was kind of in shock, like clicked on it. I was like, what is this? What's happening? And literally jumped right over to the hub because I was like, this is news to me. Like, why haven't I heard about this? Go over to the hub, which is Disney's cast member website. And there it is, a message from Josh Gamaro himself saying, like, unfortunately, because of concerns of COVID-19, we have to close. We will be closed until further notice. Talk to your leaders for more information. And again, like, this is something I just found out that just appeared on my Facebook newsfeed. So that meant it's Thursday. The parks are going to be open till Sunday, and then they're closed for what we knew at that point was 2 weeks because that was the rest of March. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you have to understand that for me, this was like very sobering news because as somebody who loves and knows Disney history, this has never happened. Like, Disney only closes for major historical events, things like the JFK assassination, 9/11, I think Hurricane Irma. It closes and maybe a day or two, but weeks, that's never happened. You know, the sun never sets on a Disney park. Well, like if you put them all together, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like a big reality check for me at that moment. Like, wow, this is kind of a big deal. So I went to work the next day on Friday and our leaders had no information for us. They're like, we're sorry, we have nothing to tell you. Nothing has been told to us. Once we have information, we will tell you, but we don't know anything. So now it is Friday. The parks are closing on Sunday and we still have no information. And they're like, just go about business as usual. We're like, cool. So Saturday, I wake up and it's a really nice day. And I decide, you know what? I haven't been to a water park like in a while. I'm going to go over to Blizzard Beach and go hang out there. So I had to go to work at 3. So I went in the morning and just was going to spend a few hours there until I had to go clock in. And, you know, it's this beautiful, gorgeous, perfect day. And I'm reapplying sunscreen before I'm about to go in the wave pool. And I see a notification pop up on my phone and it's from Disney College Program. So I'm like, okay, I should double check what this is. And oh boy, it was just about the worst email you could have ever got. Yeah. And basically it was, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we are suspending the Disney College Program. Your program is over, it is canceled, and we are sending everybody home. And honestly, it was devastating. And I don't mean to be like really over dramatic about it, but anybody who lived that, anyone who received that email, I think you can agree with me that devastating is an understatement. It was absolutely devastating. And I know for me, it was like at this point, so many changes were happening that I just couldn't process everything at once. So I couldn't even like start processing the news. Like I was already still working on the whole Disney parks are closing to now I don't have a job. Tomorrow's my last day as a cast member. Then I have to go home. And, you know, like this was all just too much to process. So it was not, I was just in shock. And I decided, I packed my things up. I decided to go over to work, and I don't even remember, I know I got in my car. I drove from Blizzard Beach to the Hollywood Studios cast member parking lot, but I don't really remember doing it. I did it, but I don't remember it. And I know when I was in my car about to like go into the cast building, I remember that a few tears started to escape, and I decided, no, you are still a cast member. You still have a job to do. I needed to like go into like an autopilot mode. So I forced myself into autopilot and changed to my costume, put on my name tag, smiled, and walked on stage. And unfortunately with Hollywood Studios, where, the cast building is by the parking lot, where we go in and where my clock-in location for Fantasmic, they're like on the opposite sides of each other. So I had to walk on stage to get to work. So I, like I said, acted completely normal. I remember trying not to look at people just in case people knew, which the news, we literally got that email like an hour before we went to work. So I don't think people really knew at that point. And I was doing okay. I made it in that like 12-minute walk from cast services to my trailer, to the Fantasmic trailer. So basically when I opened the door to the Fantasmic trailer, all of a sudden like this huge flood of emotions came out. Like you could just hear the agony in the air. You could feel it. Like it was awful. Like you just walked into the room and it was heartbreak all around. Every single international program and Disney College Program participant from Sunset Boulevard Attractions was in that trailer, and there were at least around 50 people, and we were all just in there crying and like bawling. Everyone was heartbroken, and for me that was the hardest part of the entire experience. It was terrible. And I think for me, why it was so hard is because, again, this was my second program. I had a previous program. I completed it. And I think for me, I couldn't even imagine what that would have been like for me to be told, like, hey, after 2 months, you have to leave. You have to go home. Some people hadn't even been there for 2 months at that point. Some people had maybe been there for a month. I think some people, not at our location, but other people had just gotten there. I heard some people went to their traditions training and were told to go home because they had they'd gotten the news. Like I just can't even imagine. And I knew what they were missing, and I knew what that was like to get accepted, to be excited, and to have it just like ripped away from you. It was hard. So we all literally just sat in there, cried. Our leaders came in and they had gotten the information the same time as us. So this was still news to them. They were just as shocked, just as devastated as we were. And you could tell that they were really struggling, but they did their best. They tried to answer questions that they knew. They offered that anybody who wanted to leave early that day, get an ER, they would make sure that they would let you leave if you needed to leave. And yeah, and basically for us at Fantasmic, they didn't even make us work for like the first 2 hours. They let us sit in our trailer, talk, cry, and just kind of get everything out. And that was amazing and so generous of them. Most of us stayed, honestly. That's how close we were as a cast. We wanted to be with each other. We didn't want to go back to our apartments. We wanted to be there with our friends and do the show, because the crazy thing is we got this information on Saturday. Sunday was going to be our last day, and then that was going to be it. And so they even were offering some people had Sunday off, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do the last show. So our leaders even told people, if you want to work tomorrow, you call us and we will let you come in. They were just like that amazing and that understanding. And I will say that I'm going to do an entire video on Sunday, my last day, because as much as it was a very bittersweet experience, Sunday was an amazing day. And I wanted to do a whole video for you guys on just that day. So that is coming. But Saturday was not great. Saturday was the day that we had to get through. And I just remember, you know, eventually we did have to go to work. We did have to go set up the theater. And, you know, we were doing okay. But when it actually came time to show load, which is when we actually let guests into the theater, that night I got assigned a packing position. So I'm that annoying lady that's in the theater that's like, hi guys, please move all the way down, fill in all that available space. Mickey has lots of friends coming to the show tonight. We need to make room for all his friends. Yeah, I'm that annoying lady. And so, you know, basically what happens at Fantasmic is before we actually let guests into the theater, we will all get in position, we'll all get lined up and ready. And then 6:30 on the dot, which is when we normally let guests in, is when they turn on the playlist. And it's the same playlist every single night. And for some reason, for me, I was doing okay after the initial like walking into the room, bawling with my friends for the first 2 hours of our shift. I'd like pulled myself together. All of a sudden, this playlist comes on, and the first song is "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes," the Disney Channel Stars video. And I lose it. Like, I absolutely lose it. And, like, ugly crying. And my coordinator walks over and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Can you do this? You need to go home. And I was like, no, I can do this. Like, I promise I can do it. I was like, I need a moment. And she was amazing. She, like, gave me this huge hug and just like, I'm so sorry. This shouldn't happen to you. Like, this is really hard. We're gonna miss you so much. And she's like, just take your time. And I thankfully was able to get myself together before guests actually made it into the theater. But it was kind of funny because not funny, it was just weird that the entire night, like, you would see us all do that before we like got really crazy, is you would see somebody standing there and all of a sudden just like turn around, have their little moment, and then like come back, wipe the tears from their eyes and go back to work. Like, that's how the rest of the night went. And it was so hard. Like I said, I will do a whole video for you guys on Sunday, so I'm gonna kind of skip ahead. But basically Sunday came and went. We had this really amazing but also really terrible day, and then we had to say goodbye, and that was it. I know for me, I was having a really hard time. I know that when I first talked to Daniel that first night, I think 15 minutes of our phone conversation was just me sitting in my car crying. Like, words were not coming out. I just cried. And, you know, I had to pack everything up. I spent Monday basically doing that, just packing it all up. Went over to Disney Springs one more time, grabbed some dinner, took it all in one more time. Definitely went to Sprinkles, got a cupcake sundae because really needed it. And then basically Tuesday morning, I turned in my housing ID, turned in my apartment key, and that's when they gave me my Mickey graduation hat because there was no service celebration, so they just handed them to us. And I took a picture of it in my car, like me wearing my hat in the car, and I drove away from Vista Way, and that was it. It was so incredibly difficult, needless to say. And I remember it took me about 3 hours to make it to the Florida border, and that's when I cried. That's the only time I cried in the car, is I crossed the Florida border. And I was like, I don't want to leave Florida. I'm not ready. But it was so hard, and it was so sad. And I know that, you know, coming home, we weren't sure. Like, a lot of us were still hoping they would call us back. Like, it was like a matter of if they're gonna call us back, when is that going to be? I don't know about most of you, I never dreamed it was going to go as long as it did for the parks to be closed. Now that things are the way they are, it makes a lot of sense that that's the way it is. It's just at the time we didn't know that. And then there was the part of me that was really holding out the fact that, you know, professional internships, they still hadn't gotten back to everybody. And so I was just kind of still hoping like, well, maybe the parks will be up by June, which is when the VIP's professional internship was supposed to start. And I was like, well, maybe they'll still like put me in consideration. Maybe I can still get that. And about a month later, I got the official email saying that it had been canceled and all professional internships were basically suspended. So it definitely was really hard. My life had just gone in like a complete 180, like taken this huge U-turn. I was supposed to have 2 months left in my program. I was supposed to hopefully be able to continue with the company, you know, whether that was either I was offered a job, a professional internship, or I could hopefully go into Transfer Genie and still be a full-time or part-time cast member. And all of a sudden that wasn't going to happen. So for me, that was personally the hardest part, was just not having a future with Disney anymore. And even right now, you know, it's really hard to say. We still have a lot of things to figure out, Daniel and I. Right now, the world just kind of feels like all the doors are closed and I'm just walking through a really dark, scary hallway and all the doors are locked. More specifically, they're not even closed, they're locked. But I'm definitely not giving up hope. I sincerely hope that someday I will be able to go back to Disney, that I will get to wear that name tag, be a cast member again. I don't think it's going to be this year. I think that Disney has a lot of things to figure out, and I think that they're dealing with, they have a lot to deal with their current cast members right now, so I don't foresee me being one in 2020 again, but hopefully 2021, maybe I'll get to go back, but who knows. I am definitely missing it, and I just want to say that as the parks are about to open here soon, I wish all of you current cast members, I wish you luck, and I hope that you're all safe, that the parks reopening goes well. I know that there are a lot of changes, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot of new challenges, so I'm just wishing you all lots of luck and pixie dust. And I definitely will say that right now it is hard. It is hard to know I will not be a part of it, and it is hard to not be a cast member right now, more or less. But anyway, that is my story. Thank you for bearing through that with me. As promised, I did say I was going to kind of do a personal life update for you guys at the end of this video. So if you have stuck around this long, thank you. And basically what has happened to me since fall 2019. So the quick story is that basically I had an internship that last summer that was June through September. And at the end of September, that internship ended and I needed to get another job. And I ultimately decided I didn't want to get like a seasonal holiday job for like retail. I didn't want to go back to Starbucks. And I decided that I wanted to open my Etsy shop back up, because with owning my own business, basically I was in control of my schedule. So I have an Etsy shop where I make homemade decorated cookies. I've opened it once before, closed it, decided to reopen it. And it was only open for the holidays, and it was honestly very successful this time around. And so between running a full-time business by myself, on top of that, I was part-time for my last semester for school, which I thought meant it was going to be a really easy semester. It ended up being not a really easy semester. I had a lot of work to do, and I really needed to focus to make sure that I finished so I could graduate, one. And then so it was just kind of between school and work. Those were my priorities, and unfortunately YouTube was not my priority. So I didn't post anything last fall because of that. And then when I got to this program, I had intentions of vlogging, but I quickly realized that this time around, since I was in an apartment with roommates, I never really felt comfortable like vlogging just while my other roommates were there, which I barely had any time where I was like the only person in the apartment. Whereas obviously my first program, when it was just Daniel and I could either just ask him to go in the other room, or I would do it while he was at work. So this time around I just felt really weird vlogging, and I think right around the time we left is when I was like, oh, I had all these plans to go into the parks and actually vlog my experiences, but I was so busy and honestly just didn't have a lot of vlogging time before that. So honestly, it didn't happen. And then once I got back from the program, I had intentions of putting videos up sooner, but I've definitely just kind of been struggling, and that's just kind of the nicest way to put it. It's been hard, and I needed a break. I needed a break from Disney. It was causing a lot of heartache at the time. So needless to say, I'm doing a lot better. I am excited to be back for the summer, and who knows how much longer, but I definitely have been thinking about it, you guys. I've definitely missed you guys, and I am super excited for upcoming content, and just, yeah. So if you like this video, go and give me a big thumbs up, and if you want to get more videos about the Disney College Program, Disney content in general, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and always remember, own your magic. Bye, friends.